Yeah, this is not a widely known Chivo. If you get a lot of wins and if you play at a relatively high win rate, you might just eventually get it. You might just sort of get this naturally. I want you to do that. That was a mistake. Oh. Man, this... nasty. Very nasty. Yeah, this is not... this is where the glass gets you with the entry. That was not exactly like streak play or anything. Hello, YouTubers. Yeah, so I should mention this is Deep Elf Conjurer. If this does end up on YouTube, if I don't die, Deep Elf Conjurer, we're going to do 15 runes. We're starting out just focusing on Conj. We will switch and add in some spell casting in a bit. That bat, he's still there. Do I dare release the bat? Almost killed me. I made a mistake where I woke up that kobold. That was the huge mistake that I made. Is waking up the kobold and stuff. I had an opportunity there to not wake those guys up and I messed it up somehow. I think it's through the glass. I moved through here and it exposed them to Los, and that's basically why I almost died there. Not that it was an unkind starting vault to be sure, but yeah, you can have starts that are unwinnable. Somebody posted one recently that was like really terrible ghoul start that they had. Probably we are not properly handling translucent walls for the check about starting monsters. We will take int. Since we'll be going into extended, we're going to build this character around casting Firestorm over and over. Eventually we will try to pick up some AC, but it's going to be much later in the game. We'll be in a robe, almost certainly, unless something really amazing drops early on, like Pearl Dragon Scales or something like that. I don't know. Did Jeepicus, our fish actually good authorities to listen to when it comes to preparing and enjoying burgers? I wouldn't think they would actually know much about it. This sounds like another remix that I hear all the time. Is it by the same artist? Or I don't know what this is. Oh, Jeepicus. Sometimes I don't know, Jeepicus. I just don't know. Hopefully, Mikey was making IRC commentary on my awful orb run play. I can read that. I can also die to jackals. Apparently, I really should use Searing Ray there. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, Magic Dart is good, but let's not go crazy. We've already got max spell power Magic Dart. Do I want more? Not sure what one level spellcasting will actually get me MP wise at this stage. Takes a while for the payout from spellcasting to really be worth it. Mostly I'm looking at cost right now, and dodging is the first defensive stat that I want to go into. I think there's an old adage about you can't trust a fish telling stories. It's good old Searing Ray. Yogi said no. He said nay, nay, nay to international cricket. What's he, oh boy. Oh, what's up? Graveyardigan? This is this is actually Trunk, so this is going to be 0.22, but the last released was 0.21. Yeah, what was that staff? Where? I got so distracted by Sigmund. Do we have any? We don't know about our skulls yet. I could probably just field it. Staff of Air. Good early source of Arlek. Ah, damn. Well, I don't know why I did that, but not too bad. Don't really need a weapon swap or yet, and we need a roguelike mascot. We have speedrun horse, but we need a roguelike mascot. I'll have to think of one if I ever unlock more emotes. Can't let Toad corner the market on all animal mascot. You can't have all the meme animal emotes. It's not good for the marketplace. That's Searing Ray. So you cast Searing Ray. The initial range of it is 4, so it's pretty short range. And then you hit dot. You hit the rest key, and it will continue casting it. And as long as you don't move, it can cast it up to, what is it, 3 times? I think it does end eventually. Might go longer than 3, but it's a good way to pour out a bunch of damage. Yeah, Ray plus. It's been a while since I've done a Conjurer. One of the reasons why I'm doing Conjurer is there's a command if you're planning out your wins that I like to use. I wrote these commands some time ago because I got tired of looking at this. Output like manually. So those take a little while to run, but they should execute, and they show you how many wins ago you won what species, and it looking further back, it's just going to show you like the string of species you've won recently. But for the first entries are the most interesting because they're the species that it's been the most, for whom it's been the most wins since you've won them, and likewise for classes, and there's one for gods as well. Yeah, there we go. So that means it's been 31 wins. It outputted the classes first. 31 wins since I've won Monk, 30 since Hunter, and then 28 since... So that's why it's Deep Elf Conjurer, or one of the reasons why. And then for species, Deep Dwarf, Vampire, due for a Kobold and a Spriggan. So I'm going to go for a 15 streak eventually. And it's going to be random, and I think the only things that it won't allow, maybe Felid, maybe Formicid, and probably Hunter and Arcane Marksman, because I don't really like playing ranged classes, and I don't really like playing Felids. Not a huge fan of Formicids either. Yeah, that is a glitch. I was wondering about that several times actually, because everybody has that glitched thing. It might be something about experimental species, I'm not sure. I have to look into that one. You'll see, if it's funny to query that for some people, because you'll see this one number that it's like the species they hate has this massive number of like, 50 or whatever, and then the next number after that is like is much lower. It's kind of a big vault over here. Sort of surprised we won that Formicid with how badly that Orb of Fire fight went. It's pretty awful. Uh-oh. You know, you see one null, you're gonna see another. Enchant armor. Kind of want to see what this vault is. It might be an overflow. Oh, look. Well, he died. We have Snick. There's Planktonite. Yeah, you can see maybe he doesn't like Nagas as much. Planktonite has a lot of wins. It's interesting how it just like drops off. You sort of see like, ugh, I have to play this again. Doesn't like easy mode Minotaurs. Doesn't like Felids. Maybe doesn't like mummies and vampires so much. Then it starts to get sort of a little bit more flat for species that, among species that the player kind of likes a bit more. There's that Snick. Oh, that's a different one. I really need to make it output the person's name, because that's confusing. Multiple people run it, it's like, whoa, is that for me, or... Yeah. People don't like Felids, do they? Last name. Player in all caps. Ah, look who it is. It's Mr. Fedas. Oh, look at me. I'm a plant god. I'll make my altar take up 30% of the level and put Oclops in it. Winner of race, some guy. Sorry, Fedas. I know you're powerful, but not today. Okay, we can get a bit of spellcasting now. Nice to lower some spell hunger a bit further. Yeah, I could kill the Oclobs, it's true. You do have Feda. Deep Elf, Conjurer, Fedas, or Riot. Yeah, I mean, I went through this thing, I had a 100% win rate in current, and I ended my streak just sort of like in a character I kind of didn't want to finish. Not really caring, which was sort of dumb, but hey, whatever, you know. Sometimes you just don't feel like try-harding. I was trying to rush through a character and I just sort of got it in trouble and I was like, you know what, I don't care. I don't like... I had played that character on stream and actually it had an awful early game where I just basically relied on good luck and didn't play all that well, and then... So I sort of ended that character, and then I played a Felid Ice Elementalist, so I was like, okay, well, I'll do Glaciate. And of course it was great for most of the main game, but then around like depths, I finally got Glaciate, and Glaciate is so bad. I think we really need to do something with that spell. It like I sort of eventually realized it works actually fairly well if you're something like a Felicid who doesn't take damage all that well, and you use it in kill holes. And yeah, it's not the fact that it's so much worse than Firestorm is not as bad if you're a species with HP that can afford to stand next to monsters. But playing as a Felid made it truly awful. But I eventually realized, I sort of realized that kill-holing was working because I had just sort of an awful experience in depths that finally got better when I was using Glaciate as through a kill hole. You know, it worked great through most of the main game, just with your basic ice spells and stuff. It was working fine, really. Then I got into Zot, and I sort of forgot how the kill hole thing was actually effective, and I was trying to use it more conventionally, and I burned through my extra lives. And it sort of hit me as like, oh man, I should have just been kill holing with this spell. What the hell was I doing? It would have worked so much better. I had like, you know, I had Sif for as much MP as I needed. I like Sif a lot more for Felid because it's easier just to get MP back than trying. You don't have any. You can use stuff like Crystal Ball of Energy, but it really sucks without a fallback like Staff of Energy, which you can't use as Felid. You can Sublime, but then you've got Felid HP. That's not so fun. Probably something like Caster of Gozag would have been pretty good, but I sort of realized that too late, and I got to Zot 5 and I got encircled by Tiamat, and I could have tried to survive it, but I was like, you know what, I kind of screwed this up a few ways, so we'll just count it as a splat. So I had 2 splats in a row. My splat ratio's come down a little bit, but it was really nice. It was well sub 10 for a while. Now it's back up to 13%. Well, Sif is much part of the. So one of the reasons why people will say that is that there's 2 aspects to why Sif is bad, and I'll put it in air quotes. One of them is more relevant than the others. One is that Sif's piety gain is pretty slow. So if you worship Sif, you especially see this if you worship Sif from like D2, which is often when people are reasoning about what god they want to take. Like if you get a D2 to D4 altar, so lower splat ratio is better. By the way, you want it to be as low as possible. So it's how many XL 17 characters you've gotten where you've killed them. And so you would ideally that would be 0. Yeah. So Sif's piety gain is quite low. You do get it's slow to get to 1 star compared to other gods. When you do get to 1 star, you have a quite nice little ability, and that's the second aspect of why people say Sif sucks, is they think that not without a point that it doesn't take very long before you have all the MP you need to play safely and win, and gods that just give you more MP aren't really helping you too much. Now, I'm of the opinion that having more MP is actually pretty useful and good for book starts at least. So I rate it a lot higher than those people would. But it's a reasonable point that if you're playing very carefully, you generally have enough MP that you don't really actually need much of an extra source. It's not that like Sif's thing at 1 star is bad, or that it's bad to have a MP restore ability. It's just that it's somewhat similar to just getting a Ring of Magical Power, and then that's your god slot. Now, of course, you can get way more MP from even from Divine Energy at 1 star than you can from a Ring of Magical Power, but the basic premise where they're coming from is that you just don't actually need a lot of extra MP. And yeah, she does give books, and the starting book can carry you well through layers. So often you can just find spells and branch out into melee plus defenses and not have to lean on your book spells until you find an upgrade. You don't necessarily need the books. Well, that was a little scary. Those snakes can really dodge that pretty well. Maybe I shouldn't be opening these doors, but you know what? So yeah, that's why somebody might tell you Sif is bad. And those people will sometimes often say that Ve is also not very good, because the most impactful thing that Ve probably gives you is wizardry. His MP restores are pretty weak. Range increase is helpful, is like a nice convenience feature. His spell gifting is, again, book starts can get carried for a long time and just find spells. Most species don't benefit from trying to go for something like Firestorm that eats just a massive amount of XP to ultimately make your character extremely safe, because it is like the best level 9 spell, but you have to actually be justified. Deep Elf is one that gets close to being able to justify it, of course, but most other species can't really justify it in the same way. Yeah, I mean, I use channel magic. I'll even start using it in lair. I'll use it all sorts of times. Sometimes it's just basically convenience, but it's nice to have control over your fights and to be able to make the fights sort of play out how you would like them to play out, instead of always having to fall back because you're out of MP. Eventually you can get access to Sublimation of Blood, which is really a pretty excellent way to regain MP. The lower your HP is, the less that might be true, but it's often perfect for giving you just enough. But I actually want to maybe rework Sif a bit and look at giving Sif a powerful ability. Maybe move Channel Magic to 1 star, still piety costed, but less piety cost, which would sort of be a nice buff, and then look to giving her a nice non-MP related ability to replace Divine Energy, which is the current 1 star thing. But I have to come up with a good ability, something that would benefit spellcasters certainly, but isn't just about getting. Right now she has 2 MP restore abilities, which I don't think is ideal. The rework of Sif was something that I started, or sort of like brainstormed, specifically the Divine Energy thing, the 1 star thing. And I started devising it by thinking of what you do with the old channel ability and how you could make it not. Uh-oh. We getting network latency? Well, chat's working. Is CBRO having an issue? What's happening? Ah, there, we're back. Oh, yeah, my Ethernet went down and went back up. All right, let's check out. It should be okay now. Every once in a while, I think it's my ISP. It's my service provider. Might actually be time to get. Oh, there it goes. All right, there we go. Sorry. Yeah, My Ethernet does. It might be time to replace the old router. I don't know if it's related to that, or it could be a Linux issue. Could be also the Ethernet card. Just randomly, and it's perfectly fine. The link just goes down and comes back up, and it happens rarely. Like once every so many days, it'll just do this, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. I kind of need to look into it, see what that's about. If it is something about, I might need to reconnect CBRO though. Okay, we good? Yeah, I'm gonna check the stream one more time. I've got input back now, so I hope we're okay. But for a moment, it was not accepting input again. I don't see that the link went down, so it should be okay. Yeah, it looks all right. Should be back up. Let me know if an actual use for WebSockets. Yeah, WebSockets were really new. Ed Lothiel is the dev. He's no longer active now, but he's the dev who took the time to really make WebTiles, and he wrote the JavaScript front end, he wrote the WebTiles server, and he designed the design. It's a very simple protocol. I think it's really the WebTiles server that was most of the effort, but it's pretty stable. Really, I mean, for our usage, it doesn't really go down. It's remarkably stable, and WebSockets protocol works actually pretty well, I have to say. Okay, let me get this situated again. But yeah, Ed Lothiel is one of the Tiles developers who worked a lot on the Tiles implementation itself as well. So he really did a lot of the. I've done some work on the WebTiles server, and done various projects that use WebTiles stuff. You've probably used Beam and Cerebot, and you've seen LamLobot. But that's a lot. He really put a lot of work into making this so that people could play online, which was, I think, pretty key for Large Shield. Somehow I think I'm a formicid for growing the popularity of the game. Oh, you don't like local tiles, Ziggy? Usually, people like the extra UI stuff that local tiles can do. Move curse. No longer stuck. MLX. Are you talking about console versus tiles? Yeah, tiles, graphical tiles came in 06. And that was not originally fully Ed Lothiel's implementation. There was somebody else, but he built on it and did a lot of work on it. The core sort of like technology was, I mean, as far as technology goes, it's just pretty basic SDL with some classes made to generalize output between both console and tiles, and now to WebTiles, since WebTiles means you have to output a bunch of JSON over the WebSocket. The rendering is totally handled in the browser with a JavaScript client. But yeah, that was in 06, and then 0.9 Lothiel released WebTiles, and I think 0.10 is really when people started to play it. Oh, Tedric's Ghost. Mystic Blast, Fulminant Prison. Let's do to get some dodging. I'm playing this pretty slow because I'm talking a lot, but that's alright. Yeah, ASCII. Yeah, you get used to ASCII, and there are tricks that console players have. Mostly they tend to be more careful players anyhow. So Control X is, oh, there's no monster, so you can't see it, but Control X is basically a single keystroke you can see just to look through a list of monsters on screen. And it does mean that you have to use that instead of just looking at screen, but the other part about tiles is having to look for those tiny images of like what weapon they have, and there's a lot of like noise information in the tiles output, and console removes most of that noise. Maybe I should just avoid this ghost. Well, Elliptic plays quite fast and gets his wins like in average, I mean, 5 hours, 4 hours or so, and he's a console player, so you can play as fast as you want, but yeah, certainly about 92% of our player base is tiles. And it used to be, you know, in the, even by 0.12, it was probably when I started, well, no, I started in 0.10, but probably when I started, it was already a majority playing tiles. I guess we're gonna park this Phantom, or not. Oh, this might work. Might work indeed. Yeah, there are some other weapon wielding, also monster status. Some monster statuses are not indicated via the glyphs, and you have to look at them. Yeah, some of those are possibly workable starting points. Spell haste. Spell haste is, not sure. The issue with spells is that spells have a cost, which is MP. So spell haste can kind of feel a bit like getting MP in some ways. You're sort of limited by this, by what you can spend there. Now Sif will have a low level channel ability, so that'll help with that. So it would certainly be useful. I would have to think more about how well that would work. Heroism I like less because I'm not a big fan of hero as it is. One thing about hero is that you want to use it so often. That wouldn't necessarily be the case for Sif. This would probably be like a 3-star, maybe a 2-star ability. I would guess. I would like to maybe have the channel be lower, so that will probably, it'll be sort of like analogous to finesse. Well, not, it won't be analogous to any of those. I don't know why I'm trying to draw analogies to Oka anyhow, because it's just the heroism thing, but it's kind of relatively boring. I guess what it would do is it would lower your spell fail rates. It would increase your spell power. Sif already has miscast protection to sort of directly address that. She doesn't have anything to increase spell power. Yeah, I mean, they're reasonable though. They're not like, they're not insane proposals by any means. Spell petition, Yeah, that one can be a tricky one to. She gives you spells so that you can try a lot of things. One thing Marvin PA was floating was the idea that Veg could maybe let you, when he offered you spells, he would let you cast it. It would like be part of. He would offer it to you. You can memorize it permanently, or you could just cast it. Mikey had a kind of a cute fat proposal the other day in IRC too. Okay. I need is this guy to blink further away. What's he looking like? I'll probably just mess around with him and get him, kill him eventually, I guess. You're my friend. Yeah, this'll work. Good old magic dart. Never misses. Full los. Easy to max spell power too. I mean, that's not actually a benefit, I guess, but... Well, the problem with the low-level stuff is that Sif doesn't give... If you mean by generalist, if you're talking like a non-book start, not sure what you mean by that. Anybody who's starting with a book is probably training to cast those spells. Oh, maybe you just mean relatively early, like getting to the higher level spells before you normally could. That's a little rough because the spell levels is often a limitation there. You often don't have enough levels to memorize it. Yeah, it's a nice aspect of Sif for sure. I like that she is general about which spells she'll give you.